Welcome everybody to this webinar. Thank you for your time. And I'm gonna just go ahead. This is our academy building. This is about just over 100 years old. My name is Maarten Dikhoff. I'm the International Communication Coordinator of the University of Groningen, and one of my countries that is my responsibility is Taiwan. I've been there now two times, and we'll visit again in November, but I will talk about that more at the end of the presentation. What we will cover today is a little bit of an introduction to the University of Groningen, a little bit information about the admission and registration at the university. I'm going to talk about the programs, a little bit about housing, moving to the university and visa, nice to knows, and some questions. So let's move ahead. The university, as I said, the academy building is a bit over 100 years old. The university itself is over 410 years old. We had our lustrum last year in 2024. So we are a very old university, the second oldest university of the Netherlands, actually, and we are a research university. There's two types of universities in the Netherlands. One is the research universities like ours, and there's also universities of applied science, which is also a university, but they have different programs. So, for example, physiotherapy, nursing, fashion, theater, film, that's usually all at universities of applied science. And the real research-oriented programs like psychology and economics and mathematics, physics, those kinds of programs are typically at a research university. We are ranked number 69 in the academic ranking of world universities. We are 80 in the world university rankings, so we are top 100 university. We are comparable when you look at the quality of our education to some Ivy League universities in the USA. Although our tuition fee is a lot lower when you compare it to the US. And we have about 38,000 students. We have students from over 120 countries. 28% of our students are international students, so we are a very international university. Also, the city of Groningen is full of international people, and the nice thing is that everybody in the Netherlands speaks English. And also because of all the international students, you hear a lot of English in the streets as well. So you don't have to worry about learning Dutch. If you know English, then you'll find your way around the city. We have over 180 degree programs taught in English. We won a Nobel Prize of Chemistry in 2016. And we have 11 faculties and 10 graduate schools. And the graduate schools are the schools where the PhD people who want to do a PhD, they register at a grad school, and that's where all the research takes place. So if you have any questions about that, I can also try to answer those. Admission and registration. Basically, all the information about entry requirements, deadlines, procedures are available on our website, which is www.rug.nl/SIA. There's all the information about tuition fees, deadlines, how to register. Also, we have an application guide, which you can find at rug.nl/application guide. Any questions you might have once you have registered at the university about the status of your admission can be referred to study@rug.nl. That's the email address of the Central Administration Department. So if you in the future plan to sign up for the university and you have questions, then you can always send it to study@rug.nl. Some important deadlines for the upcoming year. The registrations for the new year for 2026-27 will open in after the 1st of October. And if you are planning to apply for a numerous fixes program, which is a program with limited seats, there are some programs like international relations. Our psychology program, I think, is also numerous fixes. Those have earlier deadlines than regular. So if you want to apply for a bachelor program, that is a numerous fixes program. The deadline is the 15th of January in 2026 in this case. The deadline for this year was the 1st of May. For 2026, it will also be the 1st of May. So that's the deadline for regular bachelor programs. If you apply for a numerous fixes program, then the deadline is earlier. So when you apply to a program, always have a good look at what kind of program it is and what the deadline is. The deadline of the 1st of May also goes for all our master programs. So the 1st of May in 2026 will be the deadline to apply. Entry requirements, please check the website for bachelor programs. All the programs have different entry requirements. Most of the arts programs, if you have a diploma that is admissible to our university, then you are admissible. For example, for science and engineering programs, it might be that you need mathematics as an exam course to enter the program. Or in the case of physics, you need mathematics and physics. So always check the bachelor programs on the website, what the entry requirements are. For the masters, the rule of thumb is that you have to have a closely related bachelor degree. So if you want to, for example, study psychology as a master, you also have to have a bachelor degree from a university in psychology. In the case of which I often get the question for marketing, for example, which is a business program at our university, so economics and business program, you need to have a bachelor's degree in economics or business to do our master's program. You can't enter our master's program directly when you have, for example, a bachelor degree in psychology. It might be possible to do a pre-master in that case, but that will take you an extra year. So yeah, you have to have, if you apply for a master, you have to have a closely related bachelor degree. And what is closely related, of course, is you can find it on the website. Also, the English requirements are either an IELTS test or a TOEFL test or a Cambridge proficiency. Also on our website, it's available which tests are required, but mostly people have either an IELTS test or a TOEFL test. In the case of a PhD, you need to have a master's degree from a recognized university. And the PhD positions at our university, there are two ways to get a PhD position. One is to look at our Work With Us page, which is basically our vacancy page, where sometimes there are vacancies for certain PhD positions where you can apply, like you apply for a job. The other way is that you write a research proposal and then you look on our website and find a research group that matches your kind of research. You contact the graduate school and then you try to find a professor that does research in your field. You write a research proposal with a one-page summary. And you send that to the professor. If the professor likes what he reads, so if he likes your idea about your research, then he will invite or she will invite you to an interview to see if you can do research with them. And each faculty works in a different way, so it's very important to check our website, which is there's a PhD section on our website where you can find all the information on how to apply and how to find the certain research groups. So yeah, you can see that on the graduate school website. For our programs, you can check our website, rug.nl/education. I tried earlier to switch between pages, but then my screen will stop sharing, so I can't show you. Basically, if you go to rug.nl/education, you can find the bachelor programs and the master programs. There's also a tab that shows you all the programs that are in English. So have a look on that website to see what kind of programs we have available. We are a very broad university. We have 11 faculties, so we cover anything from law to all the science and engineering programs to arts. We also have economics and business. We have spatial sciences. We have religious sciences. We have philosophy. So we are a very broad university. So I'm sure there should be a program that matches your interests. The Dutch language is not a requirement. We always recommend that people try to learn at least a little bit of Dutch because it's nice to integrate into the Dutch society. However, it's not necessary to know Dutch when you come here. Like I said, English is spoken to a high standard all over the Netherlands. We are the number one English-speaking country in the world. So the level of English is very high in the Netherlands. And also, all international students get 100 hours of free Dutch courses. That doesn't make you fluent in Dutch, but it will help you to learn the language. And there's also a massive online course available called Introduction to Dutch. If you look for that online, Introduction to Dutch, and then University of Groningen, I'm sure you'll find it. You can apply for that for free. And they have several cycles during the year. I think three or something that you can join. So yeah, you can join it online to learn Dutch. For application, basically, if you want to apply for a bachelor or master program, everything goes through studielink.nl, which is our central administration website for applying to a university. So all the people who apply for a university, if it's University of Applied Science or a research university, they all go through studielink.nl. Also, the Dutch students have to apply through this system. So basically, this is the central national page for applying to a university. So you start there. Once you have applied, then the admissions office will contact you and they will ask you and tell you what kind of documents they require from you and which ones you have to upload. That you can do all that digitally. And once you have finished your application, the admissions office will have a look at your application and see if you are admissible or not. And they will let you know if you are admissible. Typically, the closer you get to the deadline of the 1st of May, the busier the admissions office is. So I always recommend if you have an interest for a university in the Netherlands, try applying somewhere around the 1st of October or as early as possible, because then the admissions officers aren't that busy yet and they can give you a quick answer if you are admissible. Also, please note that there is an application fee of 100 euros. So if you want to apply to the university, you have to pay an admission fee, application fee, and this is to cover the cost of the time that the admissions office is busy evaluating your documents. So please be aware of that. Like I said, there are selective and non-selective programs or numerous fixes programs. Most of the courses are not numerous fixes programs. That means that the deadline is the 1st of May. Should your program be a numerous fixes program, so there's a limited amount of seats available. You can see that on the website which programs they are. Then the deadline is the 1st of January, or the 15th of January, sorry. Some things to look out for. Most courses are not selective, so it's quite easy to get into a program as long as you have a diploma or a bachelor degree that is admissible to our university. Typically, you can get into our programs. There's a longer application period, but the closer, like I said, the closer you get to the 1st of May, the longer it might take before your admission is final. So yeah, try to apply as early in the year as possible. And also, what is good to know is that Dutch universities do not own housing, so they are owned by the local government. So we don't have dormitories like the US universities, so that is also something you have to consider. After you have applied, the admissions office will contact you, of course, and if you have any questions, like I said, you can always contact them through study@rug.nl. After you have applied, you also need to send in an English language certificate. You might be required to send in some certified copies of your academic results, some course descriptions in the case of master applications. They will also ask you for the course descriptions of your bachelor program. And there's also help with applying for a visa. So if you come to the Netherlands, you will get a student visa that allows you to stay in our country. The immigration service desk is the desk that will help you with that whole process. And that will also mean that you have to, at some point, transfer your tuition fees, and then they will make a visa application for you. All this is, you will get help from the immigration service desk. The costs of tuition fees for EU students. So if you have an EU nationality, the cost for all the programs is 2,601 euro this year. Next year it will be a bit higher. And in the case of university colleges, it will be 5,000 euros and 157, 5,157 euros to be exact. For non-EU students, so if you are Taiwanese, the bachelor degree for bachelor tuition fee is about 13,000 to 19,800 euros per year. For the masters, it's approximately 19,000 to 24,000 a year. And then you have to add the living costs, which is about 16,000 euros per year. We do not have in the Netherlands have significant like full scholarships. There are some scholarships available called the NL scholarship, for example, which is a 5,000 euro lump sum. But there's no full scholarships available, unfortunately, at our university. So that is also something that is good to know. And of the cost of living, that's 16,000 per year. About 9,000 of that is rent that is charged to students. So housing is the biggest expense, basically. So finding a low-cost housing is crucial, and the way you do that is to start as soon as possible. Once you know that you have been admitted to the program, you want to start looking for housing. Also, what is different in the Netherlands than most Asian countries is that eating out is relatively it's basically it's very expensive to eat out in the Netherlands. Students typically buy their groceries at supermarkets and cook themselves. So if you come to the Netherlands, be prepared to also cook your own meals or get lessons in cooking before you go, because that's basically the cheapest way to eat in the Netherlands, and the supermarkets are relatively cheap. And eating out is yeah, is especially compared to Taiwan, very expensive. How is it different from what you are used to? It's we are a top 100 university, so the quality of education is quite high. So it's also intense. It's although it's quite easy to get into our programs, we always say it's hard to stay in. So especially in the first year of the bachelor's, you are required to get 75% of your credits in the first year. If you fail to do so, then basically you are not allowed to continue your studies. So although it's quite easy to get into our university, especially when you compare it to UK or US universities, don't underestimate the time it will cost you to actually study. So it's yeah, it's different from what you might be used to. Um, and what is also might be different from what you're used to is that we have more regular assessments. So you do exams throughout the year. Basically, the years has been divided in two semesters, and each semester has been divided in a block. And after each block, you get exams. So you get 4 times per year, you get exams. So if you start in September, the first round of exams will be at the end of November, beginning of December, and then at the end of February, at the end of March, and then at the end of May, you will have exams, which is nice because then you don't have everything at the end of the year. And also for us as a university, it's a very good way to see to keep track of our students. So if you fail the first round of exams, then we can still jump in with our student advisors to help you get some extra classes or prepare your studies better. So there's a lot of support in our university to also help you succeed. And also, what might be different from what you're used to is that there's a lot of emphasis on participation in classes. So the professor will have debates with you, and there will be discussions. So the professor is it's not a hierarchical system where the professor talks and you listen. The professors, they actually encourage you to be critical yourself and do some critical thinking and have discussions and disagree with them. So that is something that is very Dutch. We like to have discussions about things, and professors will also challenge you to speak up and speak your mind. Like I said, they're attentive lecturers who care about your success, so they can help you with extra classes if you start to fail or if you're falling behind participation in classes. And what is also different is we are a very small city compared to most of the cities in the world. We only have 200,000 citizens, 50,000 of them are students, so we're the youngest city in the Netherlands age-wise. But 200,000 citizens also means that our city is quite small. Basically, if you have a bicycle, which everybody has here in the Netherlands, 70% of our transportation is done by bicycle. You can get anywhere in the city within 20 minutes. So a 20-minute commute for us as Dutch people is a long commute. So I'm sure when you live in Taiwan, your commute is probably a bit longer. But yeah, so we do everything by bicycle. So like I said before, once you have been admitted to the university, you want to start searching for accommodation as early as possible. For international students, it will probably be, I always say, the admission to the university is something that is very step-by-step situation. But once you have been admitted, finding housing will be your biggest stress factor when you apply to a Dutch university. So we always say that be aware that once you have been admitted to the university, finding housing will be your next big priority. We do have help for international students. You can find there's a foundation called sshxl.nl, which is they provide housing for international students for 1 year for the first year. Um, you can apply with them. You can try getting a room with them. Their rooms, they have about 1,500 units, I think. They usually open up in May already, but they're also gone usually within a day. So if you don't get into that, if you don't get lucky into that, getting a room through them, then there's also different options, especially if you go to athomeInGroningen.com, which is a website from the municipality. They have a register there with all the companies, private and corporate, that offer housing for international students. So that will be your next step if you don't get a room through SSH. If you can't find anything there, then I always recommend go to Facebook groups or student societies that exist or study societies. So of your program, try to find groups online and get a lead there to find housing. Prices range from 350, which is almost impossible to get because that's like on the very cheap end. So you get very lucky if you get a house or a room for 350 a month. Typically, the price is around 500 euros for a room where you share your bathroom and kitchen. If you want your own private studio, for example, they are available, but the prices range around 1,000 euros per month, maybe 1,100. So the prices vary a lot. Also, well, basically because it's the internet, but yeah, also be very aware for online scammers because it still happens every year that students, for example, send in a deposit for a key, and then it turns out that the whole address or house doesn't actually exist. So always be aware when you are on the internet and looking for housing in Groningen that everything checks out. We also have a campus in Leeuwarden, which is another city in the north. It's about half an hour from Groningen. It's a bit easier to find housing there because the city is smaller and they don't have two big universities. Um, but yeah, so housing in general in Leeuwarden is a bit easier. So if you are looking at the program at Campus Friesland, which is the name of the faculty, this is the website that you can look at for housing in Leeuwarden. We also have support during your studies for international students. When they arrive in August, there's a welcoming ceremony that helps you find your way around the city and navigate your way through the university. They give information about the doctor, for example, how to find a GP, how to get insurance, how to register at the municipality. All that information is given during the welcoming events. There's the Student Services Center, which helps you with if you have any mental issues or if you need to talk to a psychologist. We have a whole center for specifically for that. There's the information service desk where you can go with all your questions. And there's also study advisors at the faculties. Like I said, if we start seeing in December, beginning of December, after the first round of exams, that you are falling behind, the study advisors will contact you and make an appointment with you to help you with your studies. And also, there are mentors at the start of your studies, which are typically second year or third year students that have been around for a while that can help you during your studies because they have been through the mill already. And after your studies, there's also a career center that can help you with building your resume, get you in contact with other companies, help you write letters for vacancies. So there's the career services for that. And like I said, for once you have been admitted to the university, and if you are a non-EU student that needs a visa, the Immigration Service Desk, International Service Desk, will help you with that. They also have videos available on how to apply for a visa, and they will basically guide you through the whole process. Like I said, fietsen, it's 65% of our journeys are made by bikes. You can get a second-hand bike for about 100 euros, but students also rent a bike. There's a company called Swapfiets that offers bicycles for, I think, 1650 per month. And then the nice thing about that is that you don't own the bike. And if it breaks down, you get a new one. So a lot of students do that. And avoid buying bicycles from strangers in the streets because typically they are stolen. So you want to buy a strong lock. If you arrive in the Netherlands, there's also what is good to know. What a lot of students do is there's a lot of thrift shops in the Netherlands. So for your furniture to get it cheap, you can go to thrift shops. Of course, we also have an IKEA, and there's a sort of like a Craigslist or eBay kind of web page called Marktplaats that offers where people put up their secondhand stuff. That was the presentation in a nutshell. I'm sure you have might have some questions. That if you want to apply for a program, like I said, if you want to do a master's program, typically you want to have a related bachelor program. If that is not the case, a lot of our programs have a so-called pre-master, where you do an extra year to and do some courses to catch up to do the actual master. That takes you an extra year, but that is possible. So there are pre-masters for most programs. So for example, if you have a psychology bachelor and you want to do economics and business master, you go through the pre-master, and then you after that you do your masters. Our masters in the Netherlands are most of them are 1 year masters. So then it would take you 2 years to finish your master. A scholarship, we recommend the registrations open on the 1st of October of each year. After that, you can apply for a program. So if you want to apply for a scholarship and the deadline for that scholarship is the 1st of February, for most scholarships, you have to be admitted to the university already. So that means that you want to apply somewhere in October, November, and then hear your results somewhere in November, December, so that you have been admitted to the university. And with that admission, you can also apply for a scholarship where the deadline typically is the 1st of February or March. So that's sort of the timeline that you want to consider when you want to apply for a scholarship. Apply early in October already, because then also, like I said, the admissions office is not very busy yet. So they have your results quite quickly. And then when you have been accepted to the university, you can apply for the. So it's a very good time now in the Netherlands and also in Europe to find work. So in that sense, it's quite easy to find a job after graduation. Of course, it depends a bit on what kind of program you do. If you are doing an economics and business program, very easy to find a job afterwards. If you do a STEM program, very easy to find a job afterwards. If you, for example, do history, then it might be a bit more difficult to find a job in that field. But also there is so much shortage in employees at the moment in the Netherlands that in general it's quite easy to find a job. I see some other questions from Ting. When will we know we passed the application? If it's cross field, when will we know that I should take the pre-master? Like I said, Ting, if you apply in October, it typically takes about once you have finished your whole file, basically, so you have handed over all the necessary documents. It typically takes a max of 3, maybe 4 weeks, sometimes earlier, before you know if you have been accepted. And then also, if it turns out that you're not directly admissible, you will also hear after 2 or 3 weeks that you will need to do a pre-master. So that is when you apply in October, November, December. Once you get close to the 1st May deadline, then it may take 6 to 8 weeks before you know if you have been admitted, and then also if you have to do a pre-master. So, like I said, if you want to apply early, you get an early answer quite easy. And the second question for the housing, what if I can't find a house before the starting of the program? Very good question. We also have been building units on our Zernike campus. And specifically for the students that can't find housing late in the year, so in August, there's a thing called peak housing, which we call, and there are 400 units built at the Zernike campus. And these units can also be double bedded, as we call it. So then we have 400 people living in those units. They live there alone, but in their contract it says from September till November, it might be that you get a roommate and then you share the rent of the unit, which is beneficial for both. And then you have for those 3 months until the beginning of December, you at least have a bed and you can study. Typically, the market also relaxes around December, November, so then it gets easier to find housing. So for that initial phase of the first 3 months, there's peak housing available. So you won't be homeless when you arrive. Let's put it like that. Elena has a quick question. If I don't meet your requirements, do you offer a pre-master course? If so, how long does it usually take? The pre-masters typically take a year. It depends a bit on the courses that you already did, and if we can make some exemptions, for example. But typically, you have to calculate a year for the pre-master. The application fee, you only pay it once. And you can apply for multiple programs. So you can apply for 5 programs if you want to, or 10 if you want to. But yeah, you only pay the tuition, the application fee once. Also, what I forgot to say, and what you reminded me at the beginning, dual of the presentation, I will be in Taiwan and Taipei in November during the Dutch study days that Dual helps organize. So I will be there in person. So if you have any questions now or between now and November, and you think of anything, write them down, and I can talk to you personally in November when I'm there. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm going to be there on the 22nd of November. Jacqueline has another question. Are students typically allowed to take elective courses from different majors? Very good question. Depends a bit on if you are talking about a bachelor degree or a master's degree. Typically in the bachelor degree, in the 3rd year, there's 30 credits worth of electives. So you can also take programs in the 3rd year of your bachelor's degree from different faculties, from other faculties even. So if you are studying an economics and business program, you can also do some psychology courses, for example. So that is possible. In the master's program, it depends a bit on the master, but you can check that on the specific page of the master's program. Christine, is scholarship only available for the 1st year? It depends a bit on the scholarship you have. We do not have significant scholarships, like I said. There are some scholarships like the Study in NL scholarship, which is a one-time amount of 5,000 euros. There's also the Erik Bleuming Fonds Fund, which is a scholarship that the university offers, but the number of scholarships is very, very limited. So if you want to come over to the Netherlands, don't expect to find a lot of full scholarships, for example, because we basically don't have that. It might be that the Taiwanese government offers scholarships for you to study abroad. But that is something that Dual can help you with navigating those. But yeah, in the Netherlands, the scholarships is typically for only it's typically a lump sum of a certain amount. So the NL scholarship is 5,000 euros. I know that at FSE there is an ASML scholarship, which I think is also around 5,000 euros. So they are fixed amounts. Ting. Tim has, are there any student benefits or allowance in the Netherlands, specifically non-EU? I'm guessing you are referring to scholarships, which I just talked about. And Ting, if I find an intern opportunity during courses, when will I have the time to go to the internship for the master program? Our master programs typically do not have internships. It depends again a bit on the program. I think, like for example, if you do a master's in international business or one of the business masters, there might be internships, but that is also calculated within the program. For the bachelor programs, typically there is no internship. Internships are more a thing of the universities of applied science, where the bachelor takes 4 years, and then in the fourth year you do a half-year internship. Our bachelors are 1 year or 3 years, and our masters are 1 year. And typically they do not include an internship, but a lot of our programs, for example, in the bachelors, in the third year, give you an opportunity to study abroad, for example, which is sort of, or do an internship. But again, that is very specific to the program. Let me say that all the research universities in the Netherlands are very good. So if you look internationally, studying in the Netherlands is just a very good choice wherever you're gonna study. In the case of the University of Groningen, what distinguishes us is we have a very good economics and business faculty. So that is very excellent. Also in the fields of law and in science and engineering. We have a faculty, and we are a very broad university. So there are some technical universities like Twente and Eindhoven. They are purely focused on technical studies. We have a faculty that is technical faculty, but we also have a faculty of arts. We also have a faculty of economics and business. We have spatial sciences. So we are one of the broadest faculties in the Netherlands. That gives our student population a very broad feel as well. And of course, there is the city of Groningen, which is incomparable to the rest of the other student cities. When you study in Amsterdam, you study in Amsterdam. When you study in Rotterdam, you study in Rotterdam. But if you study in Groningen, you're studying in the youngest city of the Netherlands. There's a very relatively large population of students compared to the size of the city. So 25% of our inhabitants is a student. So when you study in the Netherlands and in Groningen, you will study in a city where there's a lot of other students, a lot of international students. And basically that atmosphere is unbeatable. When you come in Groningen, Groningen is known for being the student city of the Netherlands. So that is one of the biggest USPs we have as well. Plus, our bars don't have closing times, which is something that other universities don't have. But yeah, that's all part of the fun part of being a student. But the serious part of being a student is, yeah, we are a top 100 university. Like you said, in the rankings, we are very highly ranked. So the quality of education is quite good. The atmosphere of the city is amazing. And yeah, it's just a very nice city. We are voted the third happiest city in Europe. So there's a reason why people want to live here.
Wow, Martin, thank you. So I guess we have another question in the chat room.
Yeah, is the application process and timeline for the pre-masters the same as for the master's program? Basically, yeah. So if you apply for the program, how it works is that you apply for in StudiLink for a master's program. Then you have to hand in your documents, so your course descriptions and your diploma and your English test. That will be evaluated, and then there will be a conclusion of that evaluation. One is that you are admissible to the program, to the master's program, or you are not admissible to the master's program, but there's a pre-master available where you can apply to. But the whole process is basically the same as applying to a master's program. The big difference is that if you are not admissible, then they will offer you a pre-master's if it's available for that program. Any other questions?
There's one more in the chat room.
Can I have a paid internship while studying at the UG? If your program allows for an internship, then it really depends on the company that you are doing your internship for, if you get paid or not. If you are a non-EU student, then the company will have to arrange for a work permit, which is not something that all the companies do. However, for example, I have student assistants in my team that are non-EU and they work for the university, so it's possible to find work as a non-EU student. But the university or the company will need to arrange for a work permit. But typically, Tim, there is no. You can assume that there's no paid internship. That's basically, there are exceptions, but yeah, that's the short answer. Yeah, basically, yeah. It's your bicycle becomes your best friend. It's funny because I have a 3-year-old daughter, and we taught her cycling now. So we just cycled to the supermarket and back. So Dutch people start cycling very young when they're 3 years old, and she doesn't need support wheels or anything anymore. So she's very proud on that. And basically, yeah, cycling is part of the Dutch culture. If you're a student in the Netherlands, you will travel the big distances by train, and then you will cycle basically the rest, because you can also rent bicycles from the train company when you're in a different city. And basically, what you need to develop is sort of like a sixth sense in cycling. So also when you are walking around the cities, when you cross the streets, you're not going to be hit by a car, but you might get hit by a bicyclist if you don't if you don't look around. So you have to learn how to cross the street. You always check your shoulder before you cross the street, because you're looking at if a bicyclist hit you, and they're silent, so they're not like cars. So you don't hear them coming. So it's quite a thing that you need to get used to. Yeah, and basically we cycle everywhere, and most of the people now have electric bikes, so distance is really not an issue anymore. I now live 30 minutes from the city of Groningen in a sort of like a suburb. But we cycle the half an hour to Groningen, and we have electric bikes. So there's also bicycle highways. So there's bicycle lanes specifically created for bicycles. And also, what is different from what most people are used to is that our bicycle lanes are separate from the road where the cars drive. So it's also a very safe way to travel. I see another question from Elena, most often close admissions before the deadline. So the max, that's, you're talking about the numerous fixes programs. Elena, that's basically only the case for bachelor programs, and then only a certain kind of bachelor. And the rules keep changing. So let me find the numerous fixes programs voor de rug. Voor de internet. Even kijken hoor. Let me check which programs are numerous fixes. So international business is an numerous fixes program. medicine, but that's only in Dutch. Psychology is a numerous fixes program. And I think, yeah, international relations and international organization. Those are the numerous fixes programs. The rest is all regular programs with the deadline of the 1st of May. So it's psychology, international business, and international relations. Um, is it possible to buy an electric bicycle there? Yes, it's possible. They are expensive though, and most students don't have one. So it's also because the chance of it getting stolen is also quite high. So it's a very big investment to lose. So most students, and also if you live in the city, the most you will cycle is something like 10 minutes max. So for those distances, a regular bike is good enough. It's only the older people like me who, who get electric bikes.
Yes, that's very much true because
Yeah.
electric bikes, bicycles in the Netherlands, that's usually, for people who go to the who bike to the offices, right? Not
Yes.
students, like working
No.
people, or for the very old people.
Yes. Yeah. And unfortunately, I'm both. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, one more.
Is it an other alternative way of traffic if I can't ride a bike? There's buses in the city, but yeah, typically people either take a bus, walk, or cycle. And again, the size of our city is incomparable to Taipei. So I think one neighborhood in Taipei might be as big as our city. So yeah, you can even walk from the city center to the campus in the north. That's approximately 40-minute walk. It's about 12 minutes, 20 minutes by bicycle. But that is the farthest. Then you also reach the edge of the city. So it's that small. Looking at the time and looking at the questions duel, I think we can start rounding up this webinar. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Martin, thank you very much. And I would like to
Very
wish
much.
you a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Bye bye.